Welcome to Live on KEXP in Mexico from El Desierto Casa Estudio. I'm Cheryl Waters. I'm so excited to be in Mexico for our third year. And Live on KEXP in Mexico is a partnership between Vive Latino with support from Indie Rocks magazine. You make these sessions possible with your support. You can learn more about us and make a gift anytime at kexp.org/live. I am so very excited to be here with the most amazing band here in Mexico, live on KEXP. It's Elis Paprika.
Welcome to the world where everybody's faking. They are killing us and nobody Welcome to the world where everybody's faking all the time. We can't pay the children 'cause we were teaching
Desierto de Los Leones ha terminado.
All I can say about that performance just now is, wow,
No, thank you so much.
that was amazing. You've been doing this so long, and it's clear how much you enjoy it and how much fun you have. The band loves playing with you, and I'm just so overjoyed to have you here with us live in Mexico. Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you so much for inviting us. Like, we are so happy, right?
Yeah, we're very excited to do this for real. Yeah.
Well, Elis, you have been such a significant part of Mexico's music scene almost 2 decades now. That's a long time. And earlier this year, you were recognized as one of Mexico's greatest female singer-songwriters by Mexico's Senate.
Yeah. Oh, that's your. Oh, you made your work.
I did my research.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was pretty happy when they called me and they told me like, "Hey, we want to give you a recognize because of your career and your songwriter career." And I was like, "Really, me? Because I'm a DIY artist. I don't do this for the." ¿Cómo se dice? Como premios o porque alguien...
For awards.
Yeah, for awards or some stuff like that. But I feel happy when they take me as some important musician from the scene of my country. So that's really awesome.
It's a validation of all the hard work you've done because I know you said it's hard to get where you are today. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, it's totally. And when I decided to be a DIY artist, I didn't know like where I was like, en qué me estaba metiendo, how to say.
Yeah, she didn't know what she was getting into.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but she's been like fully independent for like close to 14 years now, and she does everything, like everything, every aspect of her career.
Yeah, and when I decided that, I knew that it's going to be harder. But now I'm here. It's still 20 years and I'm here.
Well, you've been doing it your own way since you were very young. And I was going to ask if you could talk about growing up and how you became a musician. But we were talking before the session today. And I love the story that you told that when you were young, you wanted to be a dancer.
Yeah,
and
I didn't
not
want
a musician.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to be a musician. It was like a punishment.
Yeah.
It's more like a discipline.
Yeah, because when I born, my father wanted me to be like deportista de alto rendimiento. Gymnastic. And I went to gymnastic like for a long time. So when he dies, my mom said like, I always wanted to be, to my daughter be ballerina, a dancer. And then as soon as my father dies, I went to dance classes and all this stuff. And I was okay with that. And I was like, oh, I want to be a dancer. And when I finish high school, I will go to the States and become a super good dancer. And I'm going to dance with Madonna, blah, blah, blah. I was like thinking that. But I was, at the same time, I was like pretty rebel girl. Since I was in kindergarten, like my first, ¿cómo se dice reporte?
Like she would always get like
Expelled.
for conduct, like
my conduct. The first, my teacher from kindergarten, she said like she always fight for her rights, but she don't like respect the rights of the teacher. And so I still have the report card. The report card, and I always be that kind of girl. So I was pretty rebel when I was a teenager. So they expelled me from a lot of schools in Guadalajara. So my mother, she said like, oh, you have to go to Querétaro, which is her hometown. And she said like, you're going to go there and you're going to be with your auntie and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I arrived, she said like, oh, you're going to study music because all my kids study music because it's discipline. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go study music. I want to be a dancer. And she's like, no, you're not on holidays. You're not on vacations. You're going to study music. And I was like, ugh. So, um, so in Bellas Artes in Querétaro, which is one of the famous musician academies or art academy. I was studying there, and there was a contest. And then I always sing. Always, I was like singing all the time. And friends from there, like they put me in a contest, and I was like, no, I don't want to sing. And then as soon as I went to the stage and sing, I would say like, I don't want to be a dancer. I want to be a musician. I want to make my own songs. And I remember in that time the song which make me like, I win the second place. And they give me second place because they say because I sing in English and I'm Mexican. So I was like pretty pissed off. Like, yeah, yeah, I was super pissed off because why? Like, is this like you have to, how do you say?
Yeah, language doesn't matter.
Yeah, language, it doesn't matter. And okay, so I remember with all the judges there, and I'll take the prize, and I was like, I throw it in the garbage, and I just like went out. And then they spelled me again, and I went back home. But now I was so decided to make music, and I started to be in bands, and they always like, oh, you're just a singer. You don't like I don't even I. They didn't let me. They didn't let me say something about the music. They were like, "Oh, you just sing. No, you don't have to mind about the music." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, oh, "You know what? I'm gonna do my own band, and I'm gonna go." They spilled me again.
Kicked her out of
They kicked me out of the band, and then I started to make Elis Paprika. As soon as I finished high school, I started in the University of Music in Guadalajara, and then I didn't finish. Like I was so tired of everything, and I moved to London. And then in London, I was so depressed, and I started to make Elis Paprika. So that's why, like, I didn't think. Because a lot of people here in Mexico, they say like, "Oh, why you do a lot of your stuff in English?" Like when I start doing Elis Paprika, I was living in England, so all the time I was speaking English. And then when I came home, I started to like write in English. And yeah, after a year, I decided to come back to Mexico, and then start as a professional. Like doing hacerlo ya profesionalmente.
Yeah, doing it professionally.
Well, I love hearing that story of this young DIY rebel. And now you founded Now Girls Rule,
Yeah.
which is a movement supporting gender equality and empowering women in the music industry. So you're helping all these young rebels achieve their artistic goals. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, for me, it was since I started Elis Paprika, I always was looking for girl bands or women doing music. And in that time, when I start, like 10 years ago, when I start Now Girls Rule, like when I start Elis Paprika, we no éramos tantas mujeres. Like,
Yeah, there weren't too many women-led bands in the scene, in our scene over here.
arts in Mexico. But now in 2014, there were a lot of girls doing music, and no, they didn't like the people from festival. Like I know a festival doesn't make the career, but it helps you a lot to have like the visibility, exposure. So in that time, I was like 4 years DIY artist, so I knew like most of the people that they were doing festivals, and I started to speak with them. We talked. We speak. Yeah, we talked with them, and I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of girls doing music. Why you don't let them play in your festivals?" "Oh no, that's not true. That's just like for." "Oh, why are you complaining? Like you are in our festivals." And I was like, "It doesn't. It's not about me. It's about all of us." Because for me, when I started music in Mexico, Like I always thought that I have to move to the States or to UK because most of the bands that I like, they were from those places, but I didn't have like a Mexican woman or Latin American. And I was like, oh, so when I finish high school, I'm going to go to the States or to UK to make my career, my music career. And then I knew that Aterciopelados from Colombia, they were like doing music. Y Andrea Echeverri, she was there. And then Eli Guerra y Julieta Venegas in Mexico. And I was like, oh, so I can do it here. So I see myself through them. So for me in Now Girls Rule, it's really important that all the new generation can see themselves in our Latin American girls, you know? And that's why I do Now Girls Rule. See.
Well, I am so happy that you continue to forge your own path with Elis Paprika. Almost 20 years of amazing music. You just keep continuing to surprise us and excite us, and also help other young women be the next Elis Paprika. And I have to say thank you to your aunt.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for my aunt. Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you. I hope we can do more things.
I absolutely hope that as well. And it's just been such a joy to have you and your band perform for us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Descubre nueva música en la radio encendida por sus oyentes, KEXP.org.